Good morning, pregame crew. How are ya? I hope you're doing well. Good morning. It's Wednesday, April 23rd. We're going to get started on this lovely gappy day. We're gapping up. We'll officially get started in about 7 minutes. Between now and then, I'm going to warm up my brain and my mouth and get them connected. Say hello to my friends and take a few chart requests. All right, so ES, we're gapping up now. We have a daily resistance here of 5497. Let's just call it 5,500. A daily lower high is the more likely scenario due to the size of the retracement. We are not overbought on the 4-hour yet. We are overbought on the hourly chart, and on NASDAQ we're overbought. We're not overbought on the 4-hour yet. Where would that be? 19173. Good morning, Shake and Bake. Hey, Kellerman. Hey, Tess. Hey, Monica. Thanks for that, Shake. Hey, Awesome. Hope you're awesome. Awesome. Hut probably looks great. Yep. Bitcoin mining name. We have resistance at 1291. We have a pretty big gap up. Bitcoin is slowing down a little bit. Let me go pull it up on the other screen. It's slowing down a little bit. It stopped at 94,500. With these names looking for daily lower highs, gapping up, we have to be careful because our hourly RSI is overbought. Your next resistance is up at 1297. Your pre-market high is 1248. It will depend a lot on what Bitcoin's doing and the market, but I would be very cautious up here. I'd be a much more comfortable bear top fishing pre-market highs than I would be chasing it up here. If you're in long, I would stay in long as it stays in a 15-minute uptrend. Yep, I will look at gold and Bitcoin. That's part of my regular coverage. I will cover those early on. Hey, Emerald, Chandra, Kennedy, Mitch. What do I think about overnight price action? I think the threat of firing Powell and that somehow Trump has backed off that a little bit, or at least the headlines have said that he has. That has cooled off a little market fear. We have a daily lower low on VIX. Tesla reaction to earnings. I see a lot of confusion on the reaction to Tesla earnings. Right now it's bullish. They're up 7%. You have to think about where was Tesla on the last earnings. We were up around $400. So Tesla had a 40% haircut since the last earnings. So was earnings priced in already? So they had an earnings miss, and so everyone's confused. Why are we gapping up and we're up 7%? Well, they were already down 40% from $400 down to $215, $214. They were already down. So was the bad earnings already priced in? So that's why we can't take earnings at face value. Okay, it was poor earnings, so they should be getting clobbered right now. Well, they were already clobbered. So we can't there's so many variables to factor in. That's why technicals make more sense when you just trade the technicals, because when you try to put your arms touching around the fundamentals, it's just too many variables in my opinion. When you're down 50% on a name, that's when it's perfectly priced in. Dow was a great recent example. Look at Dow earnings here. They didn't even guide. From what I remember correctly, they did not even guide. So they were down from $66 the last earnings, And when earnings came out, they were at $35. So they were down 50% from the prior earnings, and they didn't even guide. And look at that earnings reaction. They were daily oversold and weekly oversold at earnings. That is one of the few opportunities where I will look at a potential earnings trade when we're daily and weekly oversold on a credible name like Delta Airlines. And I know so many names have problems. I'm not saying they're all that. Just because I'm saying they're credible doesn't mean that I think that they're great. They didn't even guide, and look at that earnings reaction. So the earnings were already priced in. They were already down 50%. If you ever need a reminder of earnings and what being bad earnings or bad guidance and what being priced in is, look at Tesla from yesterday, look at Delta Airlines. There's so many examples where names are beat down into earnings. And so the investors that were already fearful of what could happen had already sold for the most part. Hey, Monica. Hey, EID. All right, Nike. Nike had a great day on Monday despite the market. Had a great day yesterday. We are gapping up into resistance, 59.55. We have a daily trend change on Nike. This could still be a weekly bear flag. If you were to go to Investopedia and say, give me an example of a great bear flag, this could be put in Investopedia. This is a classic bear flag. Look at that dog leg. So here, we got a daily higher high. We're still getting rejected at the daily 12 EMA. We're gapping up. Matter of fact, I may put this on my Queen of the Mountain list. I think a top fish against 59.55 makes a lot of sense. I looked at this one this morning. I'm tracking Nike. I have it in my dad's account. I bought it around $54. But I don't like this gap up. We are approaching overbought on the 4-hour, and we got overbought on the hourly. You have 59.41 is your pre-market high. When you have a gap up like this and you have a weekly chart that looks like this weekly chart looks like, then I would be looking for a top fish. Now, that is from a day trader perspective. That is day trader. From a swing perspective, you have a daily uptrend. So as long as your daily support holds, then maybe you've caught a bottom. We lost, if you go look at that $55, right, 56.52, we lost that support. That was a key support, and we lost it. We hit 52.28. So let's see if 59.41 or 59.55 holds as resistance. All right, let's get started, and I will try to go over PLTR, Benita. All right. Good morning. Welcome to the pregame show. This is a pregame show where every Wednesday I look at about 25 charts in 25 minutes. My goal is to get you ready for the trading day. This is my market environment dossier table. This is where I look at the key variables, correlations, and components that make up the market as a whole from my experience that help me get ready for the trading day. If the score is less than 5, I don't have it on the chart. This is things that are weighted heavier than others. And then looking at these weights, what is more important to the market? And here we have a score of 97. So we are more bullish than bearish overnight. I have RSI 50 on daily highlighted. I'll show you what I mean by that. RSI of 50 can act as synthetic support or resistance. As far as economic calendar, we have some Fed speak today. We have S&P global data, and we have new home sales today, 3-star events, and we have oil inventory, and we have the beige book. Anytime beige book comes out and creates some volatility, it never fails. Someone will say, I've never heard of the beige book. That's coming out today. All right, so we're looking more bullish than bearish here at market open. Let's look at the daily. Look at where we are on RSI, 48.5. So if you were to put a line here at 50 RSI can act as synthetic resistance or support. Now go back and look at the history. I don't have it exactly at 50. Well, let's just be exact here. Put that right at 50. Look at this 50 RSI. We have not been above it since February 20th. For 2 months, we've been underneath the 50 RSI. Let me click on it and make it even bigger. Look at this. And this looks like an inverse head and shoulders here, doesn't it? So I have an alert set right there. You see it? I have an alert set. It stays there. I want to know if the daily RSI gets over 50. Right now, it could serve as synthetic resistance for the market. We have daily resistance at 5497. We're looking for a potential daily lower high, and we're starting off the day at hourly overbought. So right now we have 4-hour stair step on ES and on NASDAQ. You see that? We have a stair step. We're approaching 4-hour overbought on NASDAQ. ES is not as close. Well, they're both similar at 65 RSI. So we could, in theory, let's see if these data points are still the same, 19,175. We could get to 4-hour overbought and still not be at daily resistance. ES, the 4-hour overbought, is right at daily resistance. Keep that in mind. I haven't covered NVDA. Hello, Monkey. Hey, Ron. I will cover PLTR. I promise Benita. AJ. Hey, Jill. Ron, Dustin. Okay, so RTY is different than the other Fab 4 indices. Note this difference. We have a daily higher high. We got over this 1948.60 on RTY. This was that April 9th reversal day where we had the big tariff reversal day. RTY got over that resistance. Now look at NASDAQ. We're not above it. ES, we're not above it. So we still have that April 9th high in play on SPY and QQQ, but IWM is getting over it in pre-market. We still have that resistance for the Dow. The Dow is behaving well. Boeing had earnings, and last time I looked was a positive reaction. We have resistance up here near 41,000. We're not overbought on the 4-hour yet. Semis are gapping up. Semis has, let me get that, until 20678. That's where daily resistance is on semis. I am loving this overnight bullish action in general. If I'm just speaking as Lori, the person, I love when the market goes up for people's IRAs and 401ks. I like it. I generally like it. I'm a positive person. I like optimism. However, Lori, the technical analyst, when you get this big of a gap up, I'm looking for this resistance to possibly step in and see if bears defend. Right now, VIX is telling us there's not a lot of fear in the market. We lost this 28.29, and we have a gap down here on VIX all the way down at 23.66. I think I messed that up on the whiteboard. Okay. So 2366. I think I put the wrong number in the whiteboard. That's going to bother me now. Whiteboard is what we do for members. Let me show you. So this is our chat room, and on the whiteboard, I go through the economic events and I go through all the key levels. And I think I messed up. Nope, I didn't put it down there. Okay. Maybe I thought it in my head. Oh. Okay. Back to VIX. So VIX, we don't have a lot of fear in the market right now. So we had a big drop from that $35.75 high. So we got a daily uptrend and then a quick downtrend. Hang Seng was green overnight. DAX was green. Bitcoin had a great couple days, a great weekend. Bitcoin is charging higher. We got this inverse head and shoulders that confirmed. We have plenty of room for a daily higher low. We have plenty of room for a 4-hour higher low. On the hourly, we're maintaining the 12 EMA. On gold found a recent top. Okay, so gold is pulling back. And these dips were for buying back here. Bitcoin, my argument is Bitcoin's in the same boat now. Dips are for buying until the bulls prove otherwise, or until the bears prove otherwise. So we have not gotten a 15-minute back burner yet on this big move up. Back burners are on the table for Bitcoin. Ethereum looks even better. Ethereum is approaching the daily 50 EMA. We got a daily higher high, the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio chart. Ethereum is finally making progress here. And because of the Bitcoin strength, yesterday's Queen of the Mountain in my live stream trade was coin, and I'm still in a third of that from live stream. Monday's high was 177.98, and we opened around 178.40, and we took that long. And look at that move up. It had a beautiful 4-hour squeeze. Look at that high compression squeeze. And I'm still in this long as a Bitcoin correlation trade. And man, did it work out. And coin is a Queen of the Mountain trade again today, looking for back burners. So Bitcoin is still in focus. The dollar is getting its bounce. The dollar has been absolutely creamed. Is that still a word? Is that still a thing? Creamed? We have an hourly downtrend, so bears are making some headway here. Gold is still below the hourly 12 EMA. On a bounce, bears will be looking for the 4-hour lower high on gold. Gold is finding a temporary top. We have bull exhaustion. They have been pulling their weight for a long time. We had some elevation in the bear volume. They're making their stand clear on gold. 4-hour lower high is more likely. Oil is pulling back. They have inventory today. A weekly lower high is the more likely scenario on oil. We approach 4-hour overbought. Now we're pulling back. 61.76 is support. On a bounce, bears will be looking for hourly lower highs. Nat gas is still getting whacked. That's a better word than creamed. Still getting whacked. We're holding this 2957 support. We hit 2955 yesterday. 4-hour 12 EMA is your bear full control guide on nat gas. Apple is gapping up. Daily higher low is set. However, a daily lower high is more likely compared to 212.94 due to the size of this retracement. When we're looking for daily lower highs, hourly overbought is where we begin looking for it. We're overbought now. So your pre-market resistance, if you're trading any of these names, I would be marking off pre-market highs And that's where my line in the sand would be for a bear. Otherwise, you're waiting for a stair step break. So the most aggressive bears, and I'm just using Apple as an example now. I'm not spending a ton of time on just Apple. This is the play today. Aggressive bears looking for daily lower high top fish setups this morning. And conservative bulls looking for hourly higher lows on pullbacks. That's the two plays today. That's the setups for today. Amazon. We are gapping up on Amazon. We have earnings next week. We're gapping up. We have resistance at 187.44. We're $5 away from resistance, and we're overbought on the hourly. So if you don't have a resistance over here on the left side that's nearby, then you can use the pre-market high as your resistance level for the aggressive bears looking for a top fish. Now, if you're saying, wait, Lori, what about these gap rules? Gap rules, if we're holding the prior day high and on a pullback, bulls defend, that is a long signal, yes. We are gapping up to the extent of I'm looking for bull exhaustion plays for the daily lower high top fish. Nvidia is gapping up, and your daily resistance is up at 114, $10 away. We're hourly overbought. You have a resistance over here of 106, and you have a pre-market high of 104.70. So we may make it up to 106.05, 106.79. That would be your next levels to look for a potential top fish on Nvidia. Tesla, your earnings reaction high, 256.44. And then your next resistance, 258.75. Tesla looks strong. I'm not going to be looking at Tesla for a top fish unless we get some type of stair step bear break where I have a clear top fish level nearby. AMD blew through my resistance here. I was looking for a top fish on AMD at 90.47. We're in gap fill territory now. So that gap, that top fish level is busted. So on AMD, I was looking for a top fish, looking for a daily lower high because I had a clear daily resistance right here of 90.47 from last Wednesday. That's blown through now, so that's off the table. Coin, I'm still in 1/3 coin. We had this daily squeeze, daily inverse head and shoulders. We broke bull. I'm still in a 1/3 long. I'm looking for a back burner trade on coin because of Bitcoin strength, coin strength. I'm looking for a 5-minute oversold. We did not get 5-minute oversold yesterday. So I'm looking for a back burner long on coin. I am in 180 calls right now on coin from yesterday, and I will roll up to a higher strike on a back burner trade. IWM, let's see if we still have a resistance here. 192.11, we're through that. Next resistance, 195.06. So I will not be looking at a top fish on Russell right now because we broke through that level I was watching. Nike, someone just asked about it and I liked it. I like a Nike top fish against 59.55. As long as we're holding 59.55 resistance, I like a top fish on Nike. J&J has a daily stair step, daily lower high, and this gets a little sloppy. I'm not counting this as a pivot. Looking for a daily lower high, daily stair step below the daily 50 MA, and we still have a resistance right here, 159.44. As long as we're below 159.44, and we're not gapping up on J&J. This is a nice steady move up, so it may not work, but I like J&J for a top fish, looking for a 5-minute downtrend confirmation for a top fish on J&J. I promise PLTR. PLTR, we have a daily inside bar breaking bull and pre-market, and we're getting over this 98.99 resistance. Your next resistance is $100 psychological. This looks great. I would be looking for a pullback buy. Now, why is this different than all the other names I was just looking at for a top fish? Because we have a daily higher high. We're getting over this $99. It changes things. This chart is not like the other charts. PLTR is stronger. It has more structure. I like PLTR long. And what you could do is use this 98.99 as a support. If on a pullback we hold 98.99 as support, that could be a level to go long. Now, do I want you going long on market open with hourly overbought? No, that's not the ideal scenario. You want to wait for a pullback to buy the dip. Dragon Man, you get what you want. TCG members get their chart request answered, and then I'm going to wrap it up to go get ready for the live stream. ATAI 151 is the key resistance. We changed the daily trend over 151. Then you're looking up at $1.57, $1.58. 150 is yesterday's high. We got to clear it. 150 and then key support 142. You're welcome. UNH looks horrible. It got a bounce yesterday, but it's still in the doghouse. It is disgusting. I'd be looking for reverse back burners to short. It will get a bounce. We're still oversold on the daily. Bounce will happen. Bounces are for shorting until bears prove otherwise. Thank you for being here. TCG members, I'll see you in 10 minutes to go live for the market open, and we'll get our trades on. All right, y'all have a great day and use stop losses.